Every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello there, and thank you for joining us on CoreTV Primetime News. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. In our major stars, a federal high court in Abuja throws out the case of the People's Democratic Party looking to declare the seat of 4 governors who joined the All Progressives Congress vacant. Also in this program, President Goodluck Jonathan says internal and external saboteurs courtling anti-terror war. And federal government promises to build a knowledge-based economy. Outside Nigeria, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry says the world is on a course leading to tragedy if climate change issues are not addressed. We'll begin tonight in Abuja, where the People's Democratic Party has suffered a setback in its bid to unseat governors that it came to the All Progressives Congress. A federal high court in Abuja today struck out the suit filed by the party, with which it was seeking to sack the 4 governors who defected from the party. Justice Gabriel Kolawole, in a ruling that lasted about 2 hours, held that the suit's originating processes were not valid on the ground that they were wrongly issued and served on the defendants. The PDP had last December sued the 5 governors, including a former Adamawa State Governor Murtala Nyako and the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, asking the court to declare the defecting governor seats vacant and for INEC to conduct elections for their replacement. Nyako's name was removed from the suit shortly after his impeachment. The remaining 4 are Rotimi Amechi of Rivers, Aliyu Wamako Sokoto, Rabi Kwekwazo Kano, and Abdul Fattah Ahmed of Kwara. The party had opponed an order of court served the originating process on a wrong address, which it claimed was the headquarters of the APC. The service was faulted by the defendants, forcing the court to set it aside. Justice Kolawole's ruling was on the applications filed by Amechi, Kwekwazo, and Ahmed. And the Federal High Court has also fixed January 19, 2015 for the hearing in the suit filed by the People's Democratic Party seeking to unseat the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Aminu Tambuwal. The case was due for hearing on Friday, but the respondents were not served the court processes on time. Justice Ahmed Mohammed adjourned the matter after listening to submissions from Tambuwal's counsel, Mahmoud Magaji, and that of the House of Representatives, Jibril Kutepa, who said they needed time to respond to the court papers. They claimed to have only received the processes from PDP lawyer Mike Ahamba on December 9. A court clerk also informed the judge that the clerk of the House of Representatives was served on December 4. Justice Mohammed thereafter adjourned the case until January 19 for the clerk to transmit the court service to Tambuwal and Deputy Speaker Emeka Ihedioha. A former Minister of State for Niger Delta, Darius Ishaku, is the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in Taraba State. This was after emerging victorious at the governorship primary held on Thursday night at the PDP National Secretariat, Abuja. Former acting governor Garba Umar and Another aspirant, Musa Jan, had been prevailed to step down after PDP leaders in the state drew the attention of the national leadership to an agreement signed in 2011 that Taraba South Senatorial District would produce the governorship candidate in 2015. Taraba North and Central had produced a state governor since 1999. After failing to agree on a governorship candidate, leaders of the People's Democratic Party in Borno State have settled for Gambo Lawal after a meeting at the presidential villa in Abuja. The meeting, which attracted all the major players of the party in the state, was at the instance of President Goodluck Jonathan. Speaking after the meeting, one-time Minister of the National Planning, Senator Sanusi Dagash, told State House correspondents that the decision to adopt consensus was based on the security challenges in the state.
It's always a family affair when it comes to us resolving issues. So this meeting essentially was to resolve issues within the family. As you know, politics, everybody has his interests, there are various power groups. The locus of decision-making is here in the villa. And on behalf of our people in Borno, we came to consult the President, the Vice President, Board of Trustees, Chairman of the National Assembly, the National Party Chairman, Alhaji Ahmed Adam Azu, and we have just finished with the we have zeroed on Alhaji Gambo Lawal as the candidate for the PDP. Former chairman of the GDM, and also has had a long track record, which some of you know, and he will effectively be accepted as the consensus candidate for the PDP elections 2015.
Meanwhile, the Kwara State PDP governorship primaries, which was marred with violence and accusations of fraud, has been reconducted. The National Assembly member Simon Sule Ajibola clinched the party ticket ahead favourites Gbemi Saraki and Dele Belgore. Correspondent Rashid was there and fought in this report.
The rescheduled governorship primary started late in the night, while voting commenced around 2 a.m. It was, however, a keen competition between the aspirants, where the senator representing Kwara South Senatorial District, Simeon Ajibola, emerged the winner.
By the voting in the global primaries of Kwara State, I, Governor Gabriel Suswam, hereby announce Senator Simeon S. Ajibola, who, having scored the highest vote of 144, has become a clear winner in the Cuba primaries conducted here this morning.
Dele Belgore and Gbemi Saraki polled 132 and 113 votes, respectively. The election, according to Simeon Ajibola, is victory to all. Some contestants also say Ajibola's governorship bid is the project of the entire party.
All the other contestants that in this exercise, there's no victor, no violence. We have a winner, and God will make all of us winners all 2015.
I look up to the party to support the candidate to be able to win an election. Because in this matter, when we don't have a ruling party in the state, funding a campaign will be the essential burden of the party.
Owing to the boxing expertise exhibited by delegates in the botched Congress, Governor of Benue State Gabriel Suswan says the transparent process of the primaries is a signal that something good is coming from the PDP.
You can see that it is highly transparent, and the person who scored the highest is being declared the winner. And so, for the Dapton Thomases, something good has come out of Kwara PDP. At least primaries have been conducted transparently. There is no person protesting here because every person have accepted the outcome.
With the emergence of Senator Simon Ajibola as the flag bearer of the People's Democratic Party in Kwara State, the stage is now set and the die is now cast as he will slug it out with Abdel Fattah Ahmed in the 2015 gubernatorial election. And how this is going to play out in the election, the game begins now. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ilori.
Former Minister of State for Defense Musili Obanikoro has gone to court to seek redress over his loss at the recent governorship primaries of the People's Democratic Party in Lagos. Obanikoro revealed through his Twitter handle that he has taken his case to the Federal High Court in Abuja after he did not receive a response to his appeal from the PDP National Secretariat. According to him, the 48-hour timeline set out by the party in its electoral guideline has elapsed, and he had no choice but to challenge the outcome of the primaries in court. No date has been fixed, however, for the hearing. Now, in developed democracies around the world, politicians are noted for the spirit of sportsmanship when they lose any contest. In developing democracies like Nigeria, the reverse is the case, as politicians go for each other's jugular and threaten fire whenever they fail. Whilst these are a current decimal in the case of Nigeria, Oluwaseyi Adegoke went in search of the answers and brought back their support.
It's like a covenant, blood covenant election. It's not election.
I want to reiterate that we never plan to leave the PDP.
As far as I'm concerned, you should be physically present for you to contest an election.
Bad losers they are. Though the party primaries have come and gone, and some aspirants turned losers have not stopped licking their wounds. While some like Musiliu Obanikoro, who suffered defeat at the recent Lagos PDP governorship primaries, have resorted to court action, others like former Oyo State Governor Adebayo Alao Akala simply could not stomach the disappointment and, as wildly expected, defected to other parties to achieve their goals. A political analyst, Achike Chudi, says the development is an indication that Nigeria is not politically matured.
We have not built an enduring political culture in this country. This is the reason why the issue of conceding defeat gracefully seems like a mirage in Nigeria, because that's political culture that should endure, that should also signal maturity, of our people, as leaders, is not there.
For his part, a political scientist and lecturer at the University of Lagos, Dele Ashiru, described the polity in Nigeria as weak and lacking the required spirit of sportsmanship necessary to promote good democratic culture.
The nature of our politics is such that relegates, the interest of the people, who actually are the reason d'etre for the establishment of any government.
However, the two analysts say any politician who feels shortchanged at any point of his political career reserves the right to complain or go to the court.
For some people, yes. If they know that they have lost and that they lost gallantly, in a free, fair, transparent election, I think some people, a lot of them, would gracefully concede defeat. But for others, when you know that the process itself has been tainted, and that the ultimate result of that election, is not something that can stand in any other place with proper democratic culture, then the need for resistance and non-acceptance of that result becomes higher.
Part of the democratic credentials is for candidates in any election to be able to legitimately lodge their complaints, and respective state institutions, such as the party, INEC, as the case may be, will investigate all of these allegations and then put machinery in process to remedy, all of these complaints.
They, however, urge Nigerians and the political class to work together to enhance and promote democracy in the country. Oluwaseyi Adegoke, CoreTV News, Lagos.
We'll take a break now, and I'll be back with more stars. Don't go away.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Professor.
My former students.
Happy birthday to you.
Every day, life is made better by the moments of surprise we create for others and for ourselves. Be better. Surprise someone this season and make sure to text 11 to 400 to get a surprise from MTN.
MTN, everywhere you go.
You're on to CoreTV Primetime News. If you just joined us, a quick reminder of our top stories. A federal high court in Abuja throws out the case of the People's Democratic Party looking to declare the seat of 4 governors who joined the APC vacant. Also on this program, President Goodluck Jonathan says internal and external saboteurs Scotland anti-terror war. Federal government promises to build a knowledge-based economy. And you can get all of our top stories on any of our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. Our Twitter handle is at CoreTV News NG, or stream it live on YouTube. It's youtube.com/CoreTV, space and news. Moving on now, the 2015 general election is just less than 2 months away, but the fervent remains high as all the political parties have concluded their primaries and set for the poll. The issue bothering all stakeholders is the credibility factor and how much of the damage done in previous elections could be corrected before the 2015 polls kick off. Now, it was against this backdrop that the Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola took a trip to India and came back convinced that if that country could conduct free and fair elections with its huge population, Nigeria, with less number of people, could achieve better, if not more. Find out the India lesson for Nigeria has demonstrated at the Lagos House Marina in this report presented from our studios.
If I, the governor of the state, who was elected, cannot even vote, it says a lot about what INEC has really done here. And you see, they went to post the notice there overnight and saying that we should all just go and register. So they just cancelled my polling unit in effect.
That was a very upset and angry Fashola at the peak of the ongoing voter registration exercise. The governor visited his polling unit to pick up his permanent voter card, only to discover, like many other disappointed Nigerians, that his name was not even on the list. That shitty performance by INEC stirred the governor's emotion. Days later, Fashola, in company of the Lagos Resident Electoral Commissioner Adekunle Ogumola, successfully registered for a new voter card. The story did little to change his mindset about the sloppy INEC show. He went to India and returned with his experience.
By population, they were 6 to 7 or 8 times the headache we should be having and how they were getting on. So, found out, for example, that they did their permanent voters card issuance every year, and they're planning to do it now every quarter. So this year, all people who turned 18 from January 2nd, 2014 up to January 1st, 2015 are registered between the month of, I believe, October this year to January 1st, and then the cycle starts. They use government workers. They have standard forms that people can download, and you just declare and they send your forms. So in schools, for example, teachers authenticate the students and the forms are sent to the commission. So they don't go through this lockdown that we put through ourselves. There's standard rules, very rigorous rules. If you make false declarations, they charge you to court, they convict you, and so on and so forth.
But Nigeria is not new to electronic voting machines. A previous experience did not work out and cost the country so much money with the machines yet unaccounted for. So, what is the big deal about these Indian manufactured products?
It was in that process that they now showed me this machine. I found it quite interesting. Some of the things Kumar has not told you perhaps is the cost of the machine. Last I was told it's about 18,000 rupees. Is that correct? 18,000 rupees.
Could this Indian magic be the solution to Nigeria's electoral problems?
It looks so simple. It looks simple, but when we come to use it, can we use it the way the manufacturers are using it? Somebody can just pick up one of the sets, go into one room and start voting. Nothing to detect. So we have to be very careful.
India had 815 million registered voters voted in its last election, about 7 times more than the entire Nigeria's population, and recorded success using the same electronic voting machines. One of the questions on the minds of many at the demonstration is, would the constant hijacking and manipulation of the electoral process not hinder the effectiveness of the Indian wonder?
Once this machine is programmed, so it is programmed in our premises, so it is a hard code, so one-time programmable device, so you cannot hijack, or if anybody hijacks also, you cannot encrypt or decrypt the code, so or you cannot manipulate the software whatever already it is written in that voting machine. So it is, I can say, this is a highly secured and highly tamper-proof device. Even though the person who hijacks that, he cannot take out any of the data, or he cannot manipulate the data already, whatever the words are there, he cannot manipulate that.
Well, this experience is the best teacher. It is only a trial of the machines at the 2015 general elections that will convince Nigerians and, more importantly, the electoral body to buy into the Indian magic box. Until then, the Fashala's recommendation may well be a one-man's dream, or could this be the APC's idea to curb electoral malpractices? Only a trial will convince all.
How much time is rarely enough in any human endeavor? This question, according to some, is best answered by how much the individual involved manages his time. With regard to Nigeria's political calendar for the 2015 elections, the time between now and February next year, when the first phase of the polls is expected to kick off, is becoming some sort of debate, especially for candidates who need much more time to achieve their campaigns. But how much time is rarely enough for candidates who successfully navigated primaries of their respective parties ahead of the elections? Omotayo Alo completes the story in this report.
With the rapid presidential primaries as the last stage for all political parties in Nigeria to elect their candidates in-house, the race for the general elections in 2015 remains top on the minds of the nation's politicians. For a politician under the platform of the Social Democratic Party, Shukbo Shonibare, the calendar for the 2015 general elections is fair enough for political parties to comply with and achieve their desired campaign objectives.
Not on issues or policies, it's about political power. I mean, it's a game between power brokers and money mongers. And in situations like that, then when there's no real abiding principle holding you to be part of a political party or another, then I suppose the stage is set for the kind of scenario that we now have.
The political scientists share the same view with Shonibare. Mwando Abuchi Okeke says political parties have more than enough time to wrap up all they need to do ahead of the 2015 general election.
What I think should bother us is abiding by the electoral rules and then making that day sacrosanct in terms of the various positions that will be contested on that particular day.
They also commented on the general attitude of Nigerian politicians and added that there is a lot to change in their disposition towards governance and democratic principles.
They do or die affair. They still have a very high premium on power. Some of them see politics as the easiest way to make money. Hardly do you see people who go into politics because they want to, go and serve. So aside from 419 and maybe oil, the easiest way to make money in Nigeria is politics. So people, politicians, none of them, the attitude to politics has not changed.
The characters we now have, being in politics is critical to them. That's that's how they earn a living. So since we have abandoned the space to them to manage and pilfer our resources, and we all appear to be turning a blind eye to it, then until we take our own future in our own hands, then that will continue to happen.
The views expressed by the two analysts notwithstanding, political observers are watching with keen interest how candidates looking ahead the 2015 general elections will manage their time. Omotayo Alo, CoreTV News, Lagos.
President Goodluck Jonathan has now admitted that the current efforts of the federal government aimed at tackling insecurity in parts of the country is being hampered by sabotage. Jonathan spoke while receiving some Nollywood and music stars under the auspices of creative professionals who paid him a courtesy visit at the presidential villa, Abuja. The president stated further that the sabotage, which he described as frustrating, comes both internally and externally. He, however, did not explain further on the nature of the sabotage or who the saboteurs are. Despite the setback, however, the president assured his visitors that efforts being put into the war by his government would soon yield positive result. The president, while speaking to the team led by Segun Arinze, also admitted that the country currently has challenges in infrastructure. He says his administration is committed to expanding the horizon, be it in transportation, aviation, ports, roads, and power infrastructure. While lauding those who belong to the entertainment industry for creating positive image for the country, the president regretted that most politicians only generate negative issues. Emergency workers in Jos have put the death toll from Thursday's twin bomb attack at 32. Officials of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, disclosed this at the end of rescue operation in the aftermath of the bomb attack. NEMA spokesman in North Central Zone, Johanna Audu, added that about 47 people also sustained various degrees of injuries and are currently receiving treatment. Thursday's bombing came exactly 1 week after security forces discovered and defused explosives around the Laranto market in Jos. The United States has described the latest bombings in Kano and Jos as senseless attacks on innocent people. The Jos bombing killed scores of people and injured several others barely 24 hours after two female suicide bombers struck a textile market in Kano. The U.S. says in a statement posted on the website of its diplomatic mission in Nigeria that it was saddened by the loss of lives. The Americans, whom the Nigerian authorities claim had not shown enough support for the war against insurgency, however, added that they remain committed to supporting Nigeria in its struggle to stop Boko Haram and associated terrorist groups. The federal government says the east-west road linking Warri in Delta State with Oron in Akwa Ibom State will be completed by the first quarter of 2015. Niger Delta Minister Stephen Oro says the project initially scheduled for completion in December 2013 had to be shifted to 2015 because of inadequate funding. Oro made the comment while briefing journalists on the activities of the ministry at the National Press Center, Abuja, on Friday. He said the ministry had achieved 81.3% completion of the 338-kilometer road. The minister disclosed that the Federal Executive Council added a fifth section to the road, initially divided into 4 sections to cover Oron to Calabar. He said the additional section, expected to ease transportation from Oron to Calabar, would be partly funded with a loan from the China Exim Bank. An early morning inferno today destroyed a section of the Nigeria Police Force Headquarters Annex, Camp Salem Street, Obalende, Lagos. The fire, which was reported to have started at about 6:30 in the morning, consumed several offices on the topmost floor of the Force Annex building. Though no life was lost and the cause of the fire yet to be ascertained, it was learned that property was destroyed in the offices affected. An eyewitness, however, said the fire may have been a result of electrical surge, adding that the late response of fire servicemen also worsened the situation. Officials of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, later arrived at the scene alongside firefighters to curtail the inferno. You're on to CoreTV News. CoreTV Primetime News, I beg your pardon. We'll be back after this break with business, sports, and stories outside Nigeria. Don't go away.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Professor.
My former students.
Happy birthday.
Every day, life is made better by the moments of surprise we create for others and for ourselves. Be better. Surprise someone this season and make sure to text 11 to 400 to get a surprise from MTN.
MTN, everywhere you go.
On business tonight, after years of depending on oil, the federal government says it's now keen on building a knowledge-based economy. Goodluck Jonathan told a delegation of movie personalities led by Segun Arize that he is convinced that the creative industry is the key to economic diversification. He cited Switzerland and Japan among countries with little or no natural resources, but with stable economies.
On behalf of the creative industry professionals, we present this to say thank you.
Yes, we have oil. Now we are talking about budget. Every day we are shifting the benchmark upward and downward because you can never know the price of crude oil tomorrow. But economy that is based on primary commodities, you will always have that problem. And that's one of the reasons, that's one of the things, the key thing about our transformation is that we must move from economy based on primary commodities to economy based on creativity and knowledge. Because the knowledge of a person, the creative mind of a person does not move downward, rather goes upward.
Never in the history of Nigeria has any leader given us the support you have given us. Today, as one, we have come to say a big thank you. Your uncommon transformation has seen some of us travel to the best film schools around the globe and to receive training we could only have imagined or dreamt about. We have received grants to make better films, whereas we could not previously access loans. Under your administration, many of our members have received national honors. Under your administration, sir, many of our members have gotten political appointments. Your Excellency, under your leadership, many of us are now venturing into politics.
Thank you.
Reduce poverty among unemployed youths, unskilled, semi-skilled, and vulnerable persons. The National Directorate of Employment in Nasarawa State employed about 300 physically challenged persons. The 3 million naira special micro-empowerment scheme this year, which benefited 300 persons, is expected to fight poverty and improve their standard of living. The youths are to embrace the agency's skills acquisition programs for them to become self-reliant and enable them contribute their quota to national development. The interbank lending rates rose to 42.5% on Friday from 30% last week. The central bank last month hiked the cash reserve ratio (CRR) on private sector deposits with commercial lenders to 20% from 15%. It also raised interest rate by 100 basis points to 13%. The bank has mopped up 868 billion naira from the banking system over the last 2 weeks to meet the CRR. The balance that lenders hold with the central bank closed at a debit of over 100 billion naira compared with 45 billion naira last week. The secured open buyback OBB traded at 40% on Friday, compared with 30% last week, while overnight lending closed at 45% against 30% last week. The OBB is 27 percent points higher than the central bank's benchmark rate of 13%. The Naira gained 1.26% against the dollar on Friday on the intervention of the central bank and dollar sales by a unit of Chevron. The Naira closed at 179 Naira 60 kobo to a dollar. The currency has been trading within a range of 180 to 182 to the dollar since last week. It remains outside the bank's target band of 5% plus or minus 168 to the dollar since last month's devaluation. Now let's join Sabina Izoku as she reports activities on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report is brought to you by MTN.
MTN, everywhere you go.
Hello there and welcome to the Stock Market Report segment with me, Sabina Izoku. The equities market on the Nigerian Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today. The All Shares Index depreciated by 0.96% to close at 30,763.38 basis points. Market capitalization went down to close at 10.15 trillion naira. A total of 390.6 million units of shares valued at 4.6 billion naira were exchanged in 3,680 deals. On the gainer side, Total topped the gainers chart to close with 158 naira with a difference of 3 naira, followed by Dangote Cement, Stanbic, Nestle and Capstone. On the loser side, 40 Oil topped the losers chart, followed by Nigerian Brewers, Guinness, Presco and Okomo Oil. On the top trade side, Diamond Bank topped the traders chart, followed by Skybank, Custodines, Fitsin and ABC Trends. To wrap up the stock market report, here's the currency trade for today.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report is brought to you by MTN.
MTN, everywhere you go.
Wonder what to expect from the various football leagues in Europe this weekend? Let's now join Brownson Uwana for that and more on sports.
Very thanks for joining us on Sport News tonight. I am Brownson Uwana. 100 years after the famous World War I Christmas truce, UEFA chief Platini unveils a memorial to the football match British and the German soldiers played in no man's land at Egon's Fels Highlands. Dignitaries from several countries attended the ceremony to inaugurate a simple stone sculpture of a simplified football player set in a field at St. Yvonne's near the Belgian village of Pau Street.
I find it especially moving to imagine this young men 100 years ago finding a common language in football to express their comradeship, their sacrifice, their pain, their captivity to overcome the unimaginable. All this helps us to imagine a different, a peaceful Europe, which is today a common home.
Through Christmas spirit, the sounds of war were silenced, and soldiers from opposing sides laid down their weapons. They exchanged photographs, they exchanged gifts, and in one of the most remarkable moments in our history, they were united in common interest, in football.
Newcastle United manager Alan Pardew has been named Barclays Premier League Manager of the Month, with Manchester City's Sergio Aguero earning the November Player Awards. The 53-year-old Pardew secured 3 wins from 4 games and was awarded ahead of Chelsea's Jose Mourinho and City's Pellegrini, both undefeated. Queen's Park Rangers' Charlie Austin, Burnley's Danny Ings and Aguero each scored 3 times in November, but the award was given to Sergio Aguero. It is the second time Aguero will be winning the awards this season. And to some football matches that will be played across Europe this weekend, starting from the EPL, Burnley will play host to Southampton Wanderers, while Hull City will travel to Stamford Bridge to take on Chelsea. Crystal Palace will take on Stoke City, Leicester City versus Manchester City. Sunderland will take on West Ham United. West Bromwich Albion will play host to Aston Villa, while Arsenal will take on Newcastle United in Saturday's fixtures. On Sunday games, we'll see Manchester United playing host to Liverpool in the Super Sunday fixture, while Swansea will take on Tottenham Hotspur. And now to La Liga. Getafe will take on Barcelona. Valencia will take on Rayo Vallecano. Cordoba will play host to Levante, while Celta Vigo will travel to Malaga. On Sunday fixture, we'll see Espanyol take on Granada. Sevilla versus Elba. Atletico de Madrid will take on Villarreal, while Real Sociedad will take on Athletic Bilbao. On Monday fixture, we'll see Deportivo take on Elba. And in Serie A, Palermo will take on Sassuolo. Lazio versus Atalanta. On Sunday fixtures, we'll see Juventus take on Sampdoria. Parma versus Cagliari. Genoa will play host to Roma. Udinese versus Verona, while Cesena will take on Fiorentina. Milan will take on Napoli in the Super Sunday fixtures in Serie A. Finally, on sport news tonight, in the world of boxing, Amir Khan is ready to prove he is the complete package when he takes on Devon Alexander in the early hours of Sunday. The welterweight contest is Khan's first big topping fight in Las Vegas, and the boy from Bolton wants to show boxing's great how good he has become under his trainer, Virgil Hunter. The former light welterweight world champion says he is getting close to perfection after 3 fights under Hunter. And that's a wrap on Sport News tonight. I am Brownson Uwana. Very big thanks for watching.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
To another developing story outside Nigeria now, the United States has urged developing countries to ease objections to a world deal on climate change as deadlines loomed at a 12-day UN meeting in Lima. The talks meant to pave the way to a landmark pact in Paris next year are scheduled to conclude on Friday, but delegates reported deadlock and a soaring mood as the final day neared. In a speech touching on one of the thorniest issues, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry called on developing nations to understand they too had to curb carbon emissions, even if they felt it was unfair.
One here believes that a global climate agreement is going to be the silver bullet that eliminates this threat. I think everybody here can agree that we certainly won't eliminate it without an agreement. This is not insurmountable. Mankind is creating the problem, and mankind can solve the problem. And unlike some problems that we face, this one already has a ready-made solution provided by mankind that is staring us in the face. The solution to climate change is energy policy. Now, let me be clear. We're not going to solve everything at this meeting or even in Paris. I understand that. But we must take giant, measurable, clear steps forward that will set us on a new path, and that means concrete actions and ambitious commitments. The United States and other industrial nations have contributed significantly to this problem. Before, I might add, we fully understood the consequences. And we recognize the responsibility we have now to lead the global response. But that is exactly what the United States is doing.
The Vision Pact would bring all the world's nations into a single forum for cutting heat-trapping greenhouse gases blamed for damaging Earth's climate systems. Before we go tonight, a quick reminder of our major stories. Reported that a federal high court in Abuja has thrown out the case of the People's Democratic Party looking to declare the seat of 4 governors who joined the APC vacant. We also told you President Goodluck Jonathan has said internal and external saboteurs are Scotland anti-terror war. And the federal government has promised to build a knowledge-based economy. And that wraps it tonight on CoreTV Primetime News. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Thanks for being there.